You are now listening to
Likely to Dispute,
hosted by Monkas, Reed, and Tyler.
How's everybody doing? It's Cevan, aka the Monkas. Joined with me today, as always, is Reed and Tyler, and this is episode 50 of Likely to Dispute.
That's right. It is officially episode 50. Well, technically, it's actually episode 52 because we only counted the 2 trade episodes we did as half episodes. So technically, it's 52, but our 50th episode of the pod. We've got a very fun episode today, trying out something new, going over some board bets that are sure to get contentious from last year. But first, we have a new segment. We are going to try an around the horn style debate. So we are going to have try to follow the model of the Around the Horn show that was unfortunately recently canceled at ESPN because ESPN is a mess now. But the Around the Horn style debate where we talk about specific topics. Each person will have a take, a side to give on either a player or a topic, a team, whatever it is. They'll have 30 to 60 seconds to make their case. It has to be very succinct, very to the point. And then I, as the host in this case, will award points based on how well they make their argument. It's not going to be about whether I agree with their argument. It'll be about whether I think they put together a good argument. So we're going to start today. We're going to talk about some free agency moves and how that impacted certain players. So the way it's going to go is I, as the host, will give them a player. They have already been assigned either the pro side or the anti side. So one person will give the side saying this person's in a better situation, and one person will give the devil's advocate and say this person is in a worse situation. So right off the bat, we're starting with Tyler Algier. He signed a 2-year contract with the Arizona Cardinals, and we're going to start with Tyler, who is giving the pro side for why Algier is now looking up compared to before. Tyler, your time.
Yeah, I think this is great for Tyler Algier. I'll be honest here. At first, I was a little bit worried about what this meant for the prospects of Algier's future. But you have to remember that Algier stayed as Bijan's backup in Atlanta multiple years over multiple coaching changes. And so I believe that speaks to the quality of runner he is. The Cardinals restructured James Conner's contract for this year. They're not extending him. They've just restructured his contract this year to save some cap space rather than cutting him, keep a veteran leadership presence in the locker room. Trey Benson, he had a meniscus injury early in the season. Those meniscus injuries are typically a 4 to 6 week recovery. However, Trey Benson didn't return, and maybe that was because the Cardinals were already out of it at that point, but also maybe it's because there's something else going on with that injury, or maybe they didn't necessarily believe in the player. Who knows? And I'll also note that Bam Knight and Michael Carter both had multiple successful weeks in the Cardinals offense. So I know everyone's projecting the Cardinals offense and team overall to be pretty poor this year, but I don't think that excludes Tyler Algier from having fantasy success in 2026.
Very well done. Right on the dot. Cevan, you are anti-Tyler Algier on the Cardinals. What do you got?
Yeah, like you said, he signed to the Cardinals. It's already a crowded backfield. They have, youth with Trey Benson, still some hope there. They didn't cut James Conner. They restructured that way he would still be able to be a part of the team. So you got those two. Brand new coaching staff with Mike LaFleur coming from the Rams. Most recently this past season, they used multiple backs. So people are going to be cutting into each other's work share there, whatever you want to say. Everybody thinks the Cardinals are going to be a super bad team. They were bad last year, haven't done much to get better. And Pro Football Network projects them to be a bottom third offensive line in negative game scripts, likely going throughout the season. What we saw last year is they just aired out the ball. You had Jacoby Brissett throwing 50 times a game. So with Algier already not being much of a pass catcher that we've seen so far in his career, it's hard to see him being a all-the-time fantasy contributor.
Nice. Very well done from both of you. I was happy with both of them. I am having you guys both at 3 points, as you can see. Very fair host here on this first one. But I thought you guys both put together an argument. Personally, I think I lean more towards the pro side, just because I think there's a reason that they brought in somebody when they already had two guys. Well, I guess technically four guys in house. It's not necessarily the amount of money, which wasn't insignificant, but I do think he's kind of an upside swing that I think people were really upset about. That he could have had a lot better landing spot, but I think it could be a lot worse too. So, well done, gentlemen. The second name we are going to go to here, we are going to Justin Jefferson, formerly considered the unanimous best receiver in the league, had a very down year, mostly or almost entirely not in his control here. But they signed a new quarterback. Cevan, you have been a Kyler Murray guy for a while. Why is this good for Justin Jefferson?
Yeah, first of all, you can't deny Justin Jefferson. He's an all-world talent. You can still say he's the best wide receiver in the league. This is the last year was the first year in his career he didn't produce to his normal standards. With the collection of Max Brosmer, Carson Wentz, and first-year starter JJ McCarthy. Then they bring in Kyler on a one-year minimum, league minimum, vet minimum, whatever it's called. He's an upgrade nonetheless over a lot of the quarterbacks he's played with over his career. You have guys like uh, Josh Dobbs, Max Brosmer, Sam Howell, all these quarterbacks that he's produced with. And so bringing in Kyler on a one year will raise that floor. And then you just have to think if JJ does get an opportunity again, he will be any amount better than he was as his first year starter. And so I'm just going to bet on the talent here and that the situation and trust in Kevin O'Connell.
Nice. Very well done. Tyler, anti-Justin Jefferson is a stance to take. Let's hear it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll start out with a question here. And when has a QB carousel ever boded well for what's supposed to be a wide receiver one in fantasy football? Off the top of my head, I don't think I can really recall a situation where that has gone extremely well for any particular receiver. Last year, Jefferson's receptions per game was 4.9. That was zero point 0.6 receptions lower than his rookie year, which was the second lowest of his career. The rookie year was. So that's obviously worrisome there. Furthermore, success percentage as defined by Football Reference last year for Justin Jefferson was 46.1. The next lowest was also his rookie year at 55.7. So that just goes to show you that Jefferson was catching less balls last year, and when he was catching them, or overall at the passes thrown to him were not super successful compared to the rest of his career. So I just in a weird situation in Minnesota right now, I think last year is a telltale sign of what's to come this year again.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. I don't know how you define the quarterback carousel and how that hasn't worked out for receivers, but uh, I was a little confused by that talking point or that question, I guess.
But you're saying that you'd think there have been receivers
Well,
that
I don't know what you define as the quarterback carousel. Like, what
is
do you
there
mean that has never worked out for a receiver?
well, for a wide receiver one in fantasy football.
What about Justin Jefferson in 2024 when they brought in Sam Darnold, who wasn't even supposed to start?
But he started the whole year.
Oh, so you're
I'm saying like I don't can we really say with confidence here if Kyler Murray or JJ McCarthy is going to start the whole year? I feel
yeah,
like if it starts out poor, if there's a stretch that's poor, it's inevitable that fans are clamoring for the other one. So
interesting. I disagree with that, but I appreciate the argument.
okay.
Third one. This one is one I'm really excited for. We're talking about Falcons pass catchers, both Drake London and Kyle Pitts. We're talking about who should be starting for the Falcons at quarterback this year. Either Tua Tagovailoa, the new Falcons quarterback, or Michael Penix, Big P. And we're going to start with Tyler. You're making the argument for Big P, Michael Penix. Why should he be starting for the Falcons this year?
Yeah, in the NFL with quarterbacks right now, I feel like the big thing you hear is the NFL doesn't know how to develop quarterbacks anymore. So let's talk about Michael Penix. He's the eighth overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft. He's only started 12 games. I find it hard to believe that, many players outside of the generational talents can fully develop in 12 games started. Last year in 9 games, Penix only threw 3 interceptions. So I think even though that is a small sample size, it does kind of put in perspective the accuracy he has. He's not necessarily, when I was looking at Penix, I thought he was throwing, picks every other game, but 3 interceptions in 9 games isn't terrible. Atlanta brought in former New York Jets offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrand, but of course, that's not how I think of Tanner Engstrand as the former New York Jets offensive coordinators. Before that, he was the Lions passing game coordinator in 2023 and 2024, and those were two great offensive years for the Lions. So I'm confident that Engstrand can continue to develop Penix into a viable starting NFL quarterback. And then last, I'll just bring
Nah,
up the ace. Okay.
sorry, you're out of time here. Savan, you're making your argument for Tua. What do you got?
Yeah, Tua is the best quarterback for the Falcons. If they want a chance, they're in a division that's weak. They need a veteran signal caller. So they bring in Tua on a 1 year league minimum. He's seen it all. He's been in the league for a long time now. We've seen the ups, we've seen the downs. He's produced two 1,000-yard receivers in the same season. One of them being Tyreek, who had over 1,700 yards. He's led the league in passing yards. Um, he was handpicked by Kevin Stefanski to come in and lead the offense. Great track record with tight ends and wide receiver ones. Drake London and Kyle Pitts kind of fit exactly what Tua does. He's the accurate middle of the field type of quarterback. Kyle Pitts eats over the middle of the field. Drake London, he's not a burner. He can get open. Tua is a very accurate quarterback. So I can see, and then you can even throw in Bijan there with he. We've seen what Achan looks like in a offense where the quarterback, gets to his checkdowns. So I see a good three-headed monster that Tua can lead, and he's already shown success doing that year in and year out. And after getting cut, gets an opportunity to have upgraded weapons around him, better offensive line. Uh, so yeah,
Hmm.
Tua QB1.
Monka's ate you up on that one, Tyler.
I don't, I disagree.
When we were playing this episode, Tyler said I don't even know what the argument for Tua would be for quarterback one, and I think Monkus just gave it to him.
Okay.
Last player, probably the most hotly talked about player who was not a player who was signed in free agency on the fantasy football dynasty market. Bashal Tutin, running back of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They signed Chris Rodriguez on day 3 of free agency. And we're going to start with Tyler. You are saying that Tutin's in a great spot moving forward. Why is that?
Yeah, he's in a great spot, but I first want to talk about Chris Rodriguez because Chris Rodriguez is kind of the anti-argument to Tootin right now. People are talking about how C-Rod and Liam Cohen were at Kentucky in 2021. That's 5 years ago. This is not college football. This is the NFL. This is a head coach who's looking to build on a great year. C-Rod is not a receiving back. He's an early down grinder, and Tootin is kind of an all-around back, in my opinion. I looked at two rate-based stats here and compared Tootin to his rookie counterparts. So both these stats don't have a qualifier. Tootin was ranked 8th in yards per attempt, and this was above Quinshon Judkins, RJ Harvey, and Ashton Genty. And then yards per target, Tootin ranked 5th, and this was above Hampton, Henderson, and Genty. So you can see that Tootin was outperforming some pretty prominent rookie names there. And I think he has, he has ability to continue to develop in 2026, and C-Rod is not going to be an issue with that.
Very well done. Savan, you got 2 points to make up here. You're given the anti-Tutin case. What do you got?
Yeah, as a rookie, he was drafted in the fourth round, handpicked by Liam Cohen and his staff. He struggled to carve out a role as a rookie. I know he had Travis Etienne ahead of him, a veteran who had a solidified role, but he only had 82 carries as a rookie and 10 receptions. Another player they drafted in the seventh round, LaQuint Allen, also had the exact amount of receptions. And we all know for running backs, the pass catching ability is really what makes you run. So while the departure of Achane, yeah, Travis Achane, um, wow, that threw me off. I'm sorry. The departure of Travis Achane, the pass catching role is up for grabs and might be a shift to LaQuint Allen there. Also, having 180 less touches than Travis Etienne, he was a half yard per carry worse. And I'm always of the belief the lower amount of touches, the more efficient you should have been. And it was kind of the opposite in this case. then the counterpoint to your Chris Rodriguez argument was, I don't think $12 million is an insignificant amount of money to bring in. And I do think, I mean, we all believe Chris Rodriguez was borderline droppable last year, and then he gets paid similar to guys like Rico Dowdo who were actually productive. So I don't think it's an insignificant signing. Maybe the goal line work goes there, and so I just kind of see a hard way to get in the end zone and catch passes going into year two of Bachel Tootin.
Very fair. Very fair. Uh, it's very, I think you guys did a fantastic job with this. It's very hard to knock you guys on any of the points. I thought you guys put together your arguments very well. But I did think, Monk, is one of the main points you missed there is that Tootin was taking goal line work from ETN last year. So while I think that's, it's obviously very possible that Rodriguez ends up taking goal line work because he's a bigger back. I mean, they were preferring Tootin as a smaller back to ETN last year. So again, maybe my Tootin bias talking, but I did think that's a kind of a commonly missed point in this discussion that Rodriguez is going to be the early down grinder, the goal line guy, because he's so much bigger. And I think it's lost that they trusted Tootin a lot at the goal line last year. So very well done. I'm giving the Tyler the win by 1 point. It was very close. No, I think the only one that anyone got ate up on was Tyler on the Falcons quarterback. I thought the rest of them were very well done. So good job, gentlemen. Any comments here on the around the horn style?
I feel like the Michael Penix argument was honestly my favorite of mine. But that's me. So I disagree that I got 8 up there. Come on, Tua.
I told you I don't care who is the right answer or who I believe. I care about the argument you put together, and I think Monk has did a great job giving the argument for Tua.
That's fair.
Tua QB1. Shout out Young Joka.
Well, that was fun. I enjoyed that. I hope to be on the non-host side soon because I think that's a fun side to be on. But the host side is good. You have a lot of power in the completely arbitrary scoring system and around the horn. So great wrap up there. But now we are going to get into our board bet recap. If you remember, we did an episode last year right before the season started for all the bets that we make, the three of us, throughout the off season. We're talking about a player, we have discourse, whatever it is. We end up making a specific bet on a player, whether it be a finish, a fantasy football, or fantasy points, whatever that is. We make bets on them, and then at the end of the year, we go back and check to see who won most bets. So we're going to go back and review this episode of the bets we made in that episode, and then see who it came out best. So if you want, I'll link the original video down in the description. But we're going to start here. Cevan and I had a number of bets this year, so we're going to see how those go. First one, Drake London versus Ladd McConkey. Total fantasy points, minimum 15 games played. While Drake London did not meet the 15 games played, he only played 12 games. He still outscored Ladd McConkey, who played a full season. So while he did not meet the minimum, I am still chalking this up as a victory to Drake London. Is that fair, Cevan?
No.
How is that enough? He scored more in 5 less games.
He could have had a game where he was the emergency quarterback and threw 6 interceptions.
That's what I'm saying.
No, it doesn't count. We need dates on these because this has to be like March.
I think this was like the very first one that we made. It was definitely before you traded Ladd, which shows how much your ownership influences your opinions.
Yes, but no, this one doesn't count, so the score is still 0-0.
Actually, it does count. I already counted it because I can't edit it now. What's done is done.
It can't count. We see the criteria at the bottom.
Okay, but Ladd played an entire season.
It doesn't matter. Minimum.
Well, it's too bad because it's me. Sorry, I already added it up.
That's cheese.
Drake London was wide receiver 18 in only 12 games. That's kind of crazy, actually.
And
Tyler,
was, what, 26?
Well, total points. Let me look.
I think it
feels weird filtering to total points. Ladd was 29 in 16 games. London was 18 in 12 games.
Rigged.
Tyler, any thoughts here? I believe you sided with me when this happened.
Yeah, I've kind of been all aboard the anti-Ladd train since 2024. So
arguably the conductor of the train.
That's right.
Yeah. Number 2, Garrett Wilson versus Rome Odunze. Total fantasy points, minimum 15 games played. This one's a void. Neither player hit the 15 games played. Not a whole lot to talk about here. Garrett Wilson started out hot, had a couple of bad games, and then missed most of the back half of the year. Rome started out hot, playing through injury, and then did not have a good back half. I'm probably back 2/3 of the year. So this was just overall kind of a bust of a bet. One that I was kind of excited for because they were going right around in the same area of redraft ADP.
On pod, I'll run this one back with you if you want.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Uh, d-
we
did you
can check
check did you check to see who won this, even though
Well, Rome
It would have
played.
been Rome.
Rome played. Garrett Wilson only played in like 6 games this year. So
Rome
I'm
played
sure in
12.
total, because Cevan loves total fantasy points, that I'm sure Rome ended up winning.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way he didn't.
Yes,
I mean,
he
Rome was
doubled games.
wide receiver 41.
Yeah, and Garrett Wilson didn't. Sorry, I'm still scrolling. Garrett Wilson was 63 in 7 games. So yeah, that one was a mess. 2 injured players, 2 players we had. I would say I had a ton of confidence in Garrett Wilson. I just wanted to capitalize on Munka's overconfidence on Rome, which leads us well into our next one. Rome, Rome over under 81 catches for 1,117 yards, also known as T. Higgins' career averages. He obviously did not sniff either of these numbers this year.
No, but was on a great pace after like 5 weeks.
Yeah, after the first 4 weeks when he was scoring 1.5 touchdowns per week, yeah, he was on a great pace. But
Dude, you
uh,
almost sold him to me after that stretch, Swan.
would have been a great sell high.
I don't remember that.
Oh, because I sent you a crazy offer.
Yes, you did. And then I said I'd
Oh,
do it for
yeah.
Garrett Wilson, and you
It was
said
like-
no.
It was like James Conner, Trey Benson, Devontae Adams in a second.
No, it was Jaden Blue, not Trey Benson.
Yeah, because you love
Oh, yeah,
Jaden
something
Blue.
like that.
I believe I remember correctly. It was Devontae, James Conner, Jaden Blue, a 1 and a 2 for Rome.
No.
I'm almost positive that was the offer.
It's a really great
But I
streak.
believe it was a 2028 one.
I'm going back and oh shoot. I'm going back.
Because then I followed up and told Tyler I would do that for Garrett Wilson, and he said no. So shout out Tyler.
You want what you
Shit.
can't have, you know?
Big win for me there. Shout out me. Next one. Cevan, are you with us or are you still looking for the offer?
The official offer was absolutely nothing. Oh my goodness. It was nasty. Green Guy has proposed a trade. Devontae Adams, James Conner, Jaden Blue, a 2026 second and a 2028 first
So I kind of nailed it.
for Rome, and that's it.
And you didn't even counter.
Um,
Could
I
have
countered with
Devontae,
Trey
who-
Benson for Bill.
That sounds about right. Bet number
Oh,
4.
never mind. Sorry, lied. That was LM. Sorry. Go on.
Bet number 4. Caleb Johnson versus RJ Harvey. Yeah, this one was bad. After Caleb Johnson gave up the kick return touchdown in week 2 versus the Seahawks, he did not see many touches the rest of the year. So yeah, this was another win for me. Not that RJ Harvey was spectacular by any means, but he was certainly better than Caleb Johnson was.
Yes.
As I don't know if you have a whole lot of argument here from the Caleb Johnson stand.
There's nothing to say. He had like 60 yards.
Tyler, any thoughts here? Shout out Caleb
No,
Johnson.
nothing really.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't even talk about that
301?
one.
This
3-1. But now we're getting into my bad stretch of bets. Isaiah
so-
Pacheco
real
versus
quick.
Yep.
Sorry. I scrolled all the way back, and 4 years ago, Tyler offered me Ronald Jones and CeeDee Lamb for T. Higgins and James Robinson.
Let's go.
sounds like a good deal to me.
Yeah. Okay, sorry,
Rojo?
that's all.
Okay. Isaiah Pacheco, Quinshawn Judkins. Obviously a big win for Monk. Pacheco was awful. Did not play well. Got phased out in the back half of the year after missing some games with injury. So yeah, just not a good bet for me. As are the next 2 bets as well. So we can just move forward with
Nope.
we can get into Pacheco discourse, but there's 2 more Pacheco ones. Over under top 24 running back. Shout out Monk. Over under 4.1 yards per carry, which I was in good shape for until he got hurt and he came back and was awful. And there's a
Again.
Monk.
God, Clean sweep. This one actually paid off. And you guys, every time I brought up Isaiah Pacheco on an episode, you guys just scoffed at it like, "Oh, he's so good. He's the best running back the Chiefs have ever had." And here we are. Now he's got a league minimum deal on a different team because he's dog shit.
Sonic
Uh,
and Moose Knuckles.
yeah, I was gonna say you're talking shit now, but when he steals that first touchdown from Jameer Gibbs, we'll see what your true thoughts are.
He's
It's
probably still
Sonic.
talking shit.
It's Sonic and Dr. Eggman.
Okay, we're moving past the Sonic. This, my favorite bet of the year, obviously is not finished yet. Travis Kelce 2025. In Travis Kelce's 2025, he scored 230.2 tight end premium fantasy points versus Ben and Sennett's entire career. Are we ready to chalk this one up yet?
Dog, we have like 10 years to go. No, we have 10 years to go.
I put a
It's
question
Senate
mark on this
season.
one.
It's
And
Senate season.
if I was smart, I would have bet the rest of Travis Kelce's career because then it would have been definitely over since he's back in 26. But I didn't, so I put a question mark. I did not include this in the final tally for either of our records. But we both know that we can chalk this one up to me.
We don't know anything. Only time will tell.
Time's pretty much up for him.
He's 24.
Evan Ingram, Mark Andrews, points per game, minimum 12 games played. Another dub for Monk here. He had the Mark Andrews side. I had the Evan Ingram side, as Tyler agreed with me. And let me tell you, this year did not go well for Evan Ingram. Not that it went very good for Mark Andrews either, but Evan Ingram finished tight end premium as tight end 32 in points per game, and Mark Andrews was tight end 27. So not not a great year for either of them this season.
This one still kind of boggles my mind. Like I know Ingram before that wasn't great in 2024, but just to sign with Denver and just stink it up again, I really was not expecting that.
Well, and like through the first half of the year, he was okay-ish. And then the last 5 weeks of the year, he barely played. So
Yeah.
it's obviously their offense changed a number of times throughout the season through running back changes, injuries, Troy Franklin's up and downs, Marvin Mims in and out. Like they changed a lot throughout the year. And obviously Evan Ingram was part of that change, but not in a good way. So, but to be fair, conference championship week, he was tight end too. So 4.9
Yeah,
points.
for me, this one was less about Mark Andrews and just how out I was on Evan Ingram. When we were doing our dynasty rankings, you guys were I want to say roughly top 15 going into the season or something. And I had him super low, like late 20s, and you guys just got on me on that. But very quickly conceded that Ingram was indeed dog shit.
Yes,
What's
this was one that Tyler and I were not hanging on too dearly throughout the
Again,
season.
it's just like 2024, he was pretty solid. He was just injured half the year. So it's just
Mhm.
like, okay, he's healthy. He should be fine. But
And the year before that, he
Evan,
was tight end 2, and the year before that, he was tight end 6.
yeah,
So yeah,
good process.
it's great process from us. You can't fault good process. Another banger from Monka's Marvin Harrison Jr. over under 82 catches for 1,150 yards. Lad McConkey's approximate rookie stat line. Obviously, big dub for me here. Marvin Harrison, straight up cheeks.
Yeah,
Number
this
3
one,
on their team in
this one didn't even
targets.
have a
So
chance.
yeah, not that he would have hit it even if he was healthy, of course, but obviously did not sniff either of those numbers.
We're waiting until year 4, so I'm gonna hold one more year, and then we're getting there.
Well, if you just keep holding, eventually you'll get there. Eventually he'll be good at running with the football, but
Or catching in the football,
or yeah, any of the various wide receiver things he's
or
expected
getting
to do.
open,
Yes.
Yeah,
or
you could
staying
trade me.
healthy.
I'll trade you Carnell for Marv.
Okay, send it when you draft him.
We're moving past this.
Wait, real quick, can I do love the bets that are like the player and then matching another player's stat line. Like these ones are so funny to me. Like Rome matching T Higgins average, this one matching Lad McConkey's. I think those are my favorite type of bets here. Because
Well,
go ahead.
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say in retrospect, like some of these just look terrible. It's like how could you ever think that this guy was gonna put up a season like that?
Well, that's exactly what I said to Cevan, especially when his first estimate was like 1,200 yards plus. And I was like, he'll be lucky if he ever hits Ladd's last year. After, of course, he traded Marv for Ladd. And then, yeah, it looked pretty good for me. But I felt quite confident in this Marv bet. I honestly felt less confident about the Rome bet than I did about the Marv bet on the stat line. So
Yeah.
this one's painful. Do you guys know where Juwan Jennings finished in points per game this season?
No,
Probably
but I'm gonna guess on the
31.
wrong side for you.
32. Wide receiver
Wow.
32 in points per game. It's tough. Again, he dealt with injuries in that first part of the season where he was not great, obviously, but then he came back, wide receiver 33, just behind Justin Jefferson, I might add. So I think we should have bet on will he finish within 0.3 points per game of Justin Jefferson? And then I would have been right because he was within 3 points, 0.3 points of Justin Jefferson. So tough loss for me. Big dub for Monk here. This is not our last Juwan Jennings bet either.
Is he still a free agent?
Yes.
He is, yes.
Still a free agent, and he got you Brock Bowers.
Well, it hurt me to trade him more than it would have to trade a better player, which I offered. So shout out Trent for stabbing me in the heart. But
And he's a 5th-year breakout.
yeah, 5th-year breakout that had 2 back-to-back good years. What an impossible thing. Here we go. Last couple of ones for me and Monk. Points per game, season-ending injury sustained before week 8. The bet is voided. Well, this bet was voided because Anthony Richardson fractured his orbital bone before their week 6 game in Miami, or against Miami. So, or not Miami, sorry, Arizona. So, unfortunately, Monk doesn't get the dub here, but he will on the next couple. Actually, I believe this one's voided as well. Obviously, Anthony Richardson did not hit the 250 attempts for that, but he did win the $90 bet here on this one because this happened before the season even started, which was, again, frankly ridiculous because, again, injury voids the bet. Both of his injuries impacted his ability to start, but he was healthy for week 1, so I let Monkas win on a technicality rather than voiding the bet because I'm a good person.
Yeah, this was always a lock.
No, it was definitely
In
not.
hindsight and whatever that word is for before.
This one was a lock.
Holy.
It's okay. This meant it was like 20-1 odds this happened, and I was very comfortable taking the odds on that. And you know what? It didn't work out, but we'll see soon enough
But
what I
the
was
good
betting
news
on.
is you paid me $5 and still got a signed AR jersey.
I was just gonna say you should tell the people about
Yes,
the
this is
AI.
true. I was recently married, and my bachelors got me a signed Anthony Richardson jersey as a present. So that's pretty badass. So in other words, I just kind of won, except for the fact that he played like 3 snaps this year. That was a big loss, but
I was
everything
just-
else I basically won.
I was gonna say you won, Cevan won. The only person who didn't win was Anthony Richardson, who did not start all 17 games and make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, it's okay. The Colts didn't make the playoffs anyway because, of course, they didn't. God, I'm so glad I'm not a Colts fan. We're moving on. Tyler, that was the biggest section. We have shorter sections here. Tyler and I, first one, Zach Charbonnet, over under 8.5 carries plus catches per game. So basically touches, minimum 8 games for both players to be healthy. They were healthy together for 16 games of 17 this season. And I was dead wrong on this one. Charbonnet took a significant part of the offense away from the significantly more talented back. And I believed in the talent, and obviously the Seahawks coaching staff was right as they won the Super Bowl, but obviously not right because Kenneth Walker is way better. I think we can all agree with that conclusion that it worked out in the long term because Kenneth Walker was elite in the postseason, but they were giving touches to a significantly less talented back in the regular season. Is that fair, Tyler?
I mean, I'm just looking at this bet. So
Yeah.
call the rest what you
Yeah,
want.
no, the bet is what it is, but I'm just saying we can all agree with that conclusion. Kenneth Walker's now the
Tyler
4th highest
won the
paid
bet.
back in the NFL right now.
He's probably better than Charbonnet, but that's
Yeah,
not
that's
that's
okay.
not the bet.
Yeah,
This
specifically
this line
is poorly worded.
Uh,
They were both great in their roles.
yeah.
but we're only talking about the fantasy rule.
This line could have been 10.5 touches per game.
Honestly, I didn't even calculate.
I didn't either.
I just chalked this one. All the other ones I double checked to make sure, Okay, I didn't double check the Marv one, but this is one where I didn't even double check, but I also didn't calculate what the actual number was.
Yeah.
So
Honestly, what's sneaky impressive is they were both healthy, like you said, for
I know.
16 games, which is honestly pretty remarkable. Not even like given the injury history of them both, but just have both running backs playing a good amount, be healthy most of the year.
Well, especially when you both of your guys' huge sticking point was, oh, Kenneth Walker's going to get hurt this year, and like he was actually fully healthy, but
Can
it
can
didn't
I
matter.
can I admit something on the pod right now that I haven't told you guys?
Sure.
Yeah.
When we were having Kenneth Walker discourse preseason, I had created I typed out a note in my or a note in my notes app, and it's something along the lines of like, "Dear Reed, like Kenneth Walker is hurt again. This note is dated this date. He was always going to get hurt. This is just me sending this to you now because I told you so," or something like that. And I never got to send it, so that's sad. But I did
Maybe
have it.
maybe this can be your guys' introduction into the first lesson of my fantasy football course of don't bet on injuries to happen.
Yep.
That's sad. I wish you guys believed me more often. And the last bet for Tyler and I here, a Jawan Jennings victory. Jawan Jennings versus Tony Pollard. Points per game, minimum 12 games played. Jawan Jennings was the runaway with this one until the last couple weeks of the year when Tony Pollard started just going ham for some reason. But Jawan Jennings did end up winning this 11.6 points per game versus 11 for Tony Pollard. Misplaced confidence in a terrible offense. Tyler, what do you got?
Well, I was kind of banking here on Pollard going ham in the beginning of the season with Tajay Spears out to start the year. I thought Pollard would, just handle all the workload in the backfield, and he did, but he just wasn't super efficient, wasn't scoring touchdowns. And so it just, yeah, like you said, he kind of made it close at the end, but not really. So,
Cevan, I believe you sided comfortably with Tony Pollard on this one.
Yeah, I didn't think the Titans were going to be that bad. That's mainly, I mean, Jawan wasn't anything special as we know, but
He was very close to Justin Jefferson.
okay.
yeah, not anything special.
Yes, I think
Exactly.
that's just going to be my stamp now. Is he was right next to Justin Jefferson in the wide receiver rank, so watch it. But now he's not on the team, so I can't. I don't get to defend him anymore. It's sad.
Fair.
Savon versus Tyler. First one,
Oh God.
God. First one, Cole Kmet versus Pat Fryermuth. Total fantasy points 2025 to 2029. I actually kind of forgot about the 25 to 29 because I did book this for Tyler, but I will take this one back as a null because we don't know for sure yet on the winner of
Well,
this one.
what we can do is just put it on every year's slide and just keep it, updated. So like next year, if
Yeah.
Fryermuth's still
Okay,
winning,
so then for now, we'll leave it on Tyler, just like the first one, the Kelsey versus Sinnott. We're leaving that one for me. So.
sure. Yeah, I mean,
And
Jonnu Smith just got released. Darnell Washington, he's fun, but kind of a big gadget player. So, uh,
I don't know if I'd call him a gadget player,
okay.
but
Not all gadget players have to be 5'6" and run a 4'4".
that's kind of the definition of a gadget player. Because like, what else are you gonna do with Darnell Washington other than maul some dudes?
Yeah, that's a gadget, no?
No, that's not. That's
he's a
not a gadget.
glorified tackle.
That's a mauler. Okay, he does not get enough credit. He's actually good at catching and running with the ball, but he doesn't need to get used that way because they had like 18 tight ends. So
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling good about this one. I don't know about Monkus.
I had to
I,
scroll down a long time to find Cole Kmet, and he was 42nd in points per game this season among tight ends.
it's total points though, so it doesn't
Okay, I'm
even
sorry.
matter.
Wait, let me look then. Let me look. Let me look. I mean, I think Fryermuth's one game against Cincinnati probably passed
Yeah.
Kmet's season. Cole
No.
Kmet, tight end 37. Notably only 5 points ahead of gadget tight end Darnell Washington. And then Fryermuth was 25th.
What was the point differential though?
134 for Fryermuth versus
90.
93 for Kmet.
Oh,
You're
nice.
within range.
You know, Pat
Dude, they have
Fryermuth was sandwiched between TJ Hawkinson and Tucker Kraft among tight ends. So that's pretty good company.
Yeah, I just think Cole. We should have done career for this one because they're the same age. Because Cole will definitely have a longer career, but
I mean, there's
That
a decent
is
chance
some copium right there.
there's a decent chance they're both retired by 2029.
Yeah. Tight ends don't
No,
have a long lifespan unless you're like
it's not true.
Mercedes Lewis.
Or Travis Kelsey?
Okay, well, yeah, if you're the greatest tight end of all time, but I don't think either of those two were touching that.
No, 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 no. I like that one.
2025 wins, Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another dub for Tyler. Jacksonville ended up making the playoffs comfortably, not in a Steelers way, I believe. I don't even remember the records. I just know they had more wins.
I think it
I think
was
the
11
Steelers
and
won
9.
10 games. I think they were 10 and 7.
No, 9.
9 and 8. Yeah, okay, that checks out. Tyler's a big Mike Tomlin guy. We knew that. Let me double check the standings here just to make sure.
I'm not
We
a
knew
Mike
that.
Jags
Tomlin
13
guy.
and 4, Steelers 10 and 7.
Oh, yeah, see. Wasn't
So
even close.
Tyler's perfectly comfortable with 10 and 7. Shout out Steelers. Any thoughts
Uh,
here?
I feel like I was ahead of the people here. The Jaguars, I felt like were a little bit controversial going into the season, whether you thought they were good or mid or even bad. And I was okay planting my flag with the Jaguars last year, and it paid off.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
also on your side pretty comfortably on this one. Whereas Cevan, notorious for wanting the mystery box over the known asset, took the known asset, and the mystery box ended up being a high-end outcome for them. Cevan, what the heck, man?
Well, that I was on par with my Trevor Lawrence hate. So,
But you've turned that around. You're now a Trevor
correct.
Lawrence guy.
Since,
Since, yeah. Shout
yes.
out Monkas. Last one for you guys, the worst bet on the board, comfortably. Jalen Wright versus Tank Bigsby. Total fantasy points, minimum 15 games played. I don't think either of them hit the games played. Just for fun, I'll look up who scored more points.
I
I'm
think
guessing it's Tank
Tank,
Bigsby because Jalen Wright
but
was injured, but Jalen Wright also had that good game at the end of the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
year. Let me just double check.
But
Tank
Tank had
Bigs
like that good quarter.
Tank had
Oh, running back 69 and 70 in total points. Who do you think?
Oh,
Who do you think finished higher?
I
I
think
think it's
Tank.
Bigsby.
Tank Bigsby by 5 points.
Let's go.
53.8 versus 48.2.
I think
That's a great bet.
Bigsby met the game minimum. No, he didn't.
Yeah, it says he
Because
played. Well, he played in 17, but a lot of them was like special team stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Jalen Wright, 70 rushes. Tank Bigsby, 63 rushes, 3 receptions to 5 receptions. This was actually ended up being a pretty good bet. But unfortunately, it did get voided because Jalen Wright did not hit the 15 points or 15 games played. He only played in 10 games. So, sorry,
And now,
gentlemen.
and now they're
Well,
both on my team.
Well,
That's
wait,
not something to brag about.
what that says to me is Jalen Wright was better.
Well, you didn't want that for Drake London and Lad McConkey, so you definitely can't pick and choose here. Because you are the one who always tries to make these bets total points instead of points per game, where
Yes.
this wouldn't have gotten voided.
Okay, so why is this one voided and it's the
Because
only
Jalen
one?
Wright did not outscore him in less games. We can't assume that Jalen Wright would have scored more points in those games that he didn't play, whereas Drake London played less games and outscored Lad. Jalen Wright did not outscore Tank in less
See,
games.
that's just picking what you want
No,
to win.
that's called math. Because it's very possible that Jalen Wright scores 0 points in all those games that he missed.
All right,
Drake
well,
London
if
could
we're
score 0 points in all those games and still beat Lad.
okay, but if we're tied or you win by 1, then it's getting voided. So let's get to it.
Last bet of the slide deck. Another Jawan Jennings victory. One of the most obvious victories in the whole slide deck here. Jawan Jennings, Keon Coleman, points per game. Obviously, Keon Coleman is ass. Any thoughts here, gentlemen, on your take?
Confirmed dog shit.
Yeah, there's not much to say when you turn into one of the memes of the NFL season. So
If only everybody could see that coming. Oh, wait, we did. Come on, gentlemen. You're better than this. You're better than this.
but I don't think it was that bad to be in on Keon Coleman.
It was when you're comparing him to Jawan Jennings. You know, Keon Coleman finished right next to you in total fantasy points?
Justin
Chimera
Jefferson.
DK.
Xavier Worthy. Where did Jawan finish? Oh, Jawan was wide receiver 33 in points and points per game. So
Consistent.
Yeah. Final tally for our board bets. This is actually inaccurate because of the new uh way that we're doing the Sinnott versus Kelsey and Frymuth versus Komet. I would actually be 7-7-3. Savon would be 7-8-4. So we're all basically 500,
And
meaning none
I'd
of
be
us actually
2-2
know
and
ball.
1 because of
Uh
Fryermuth.
no, we're I thought we were adding that now
Oh,
on
we
a
are
yearly
adding.
basis.
Okay, okay.
So basically all of us were 500 at some one way or another. So congrats everybody for all that. We came out with none of us actually know ball that well.
Yeah. Well, I think so. Cevan said it when we started with the first one. We are dating these bets now because that is important context, I feel like.
That's true.
And
That's
so
it'll show how reactive some of us are versus others.
yeah. And I think my favorite thing about these is they come about naturally just from, day-to-day discourse. And so yeah, I guess nothing else to say about that. It's just
Yes.
that's one of my favorite things about
They're not
these is
forced.
no, not at all.
They come from pissing each other off because we talk about certain things so often.
That's why there's, multiple or player on here multiple times because they're so controversial.
It's true. It's true. Can't wait for more this year. We already have a few on the board.
Yeah, but you guys
Do
have
we?
chickened out of a few of mine.
Yeah, it's because you're making NFL draft takes in freaking December, man.
No, it's just you said you'd take Daniel Jones over Fernando Mendoza.
I said that if he wasn't coming off a torn Achilles, but he was. So I said that's not the same thing.
Hmm.
But we did take a slick Rick bet.
No spoilers.
No
Okay,
spoilers.
yeah. I already don't feel good about that.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Okay.
Okay, wrapping up here. Anything less from you guys before we pop off?
No, sir. That's all from me.
Yeah, I'm good as well.
Tyler, first around the horn win. How do you feel? And around the horn, they usually give the winner like 20 seconds at the end of the episode to give their little spiel. So,
Jeremiah Love, top
okay,
5.
we're ending this. We'll see you guys next week.